Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 31, season 2, Mourning Sessions. Again, all our titles kind of have a meaning, and you'll see where we're going. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there, Ron. How are you?
I am doing quite well.
So we've got a ton to unfold tonight. It is nonstop with the sports world. For some reason, it just continues to go and go and go, and I don't know why it doesn't stop. But I guess that's a good thing for us. So I will start off with our leadoff story, which is a major one. And the Deshaun Watson ruling was made. The quarterback received a 6-game suspension. The NFL has now appealed that suspension. So basically, what are your thoughts on the whole process so far?
Well, it's certainly not what the NFL and the NFLPA was hoping for when they went to an outside source for,
Well, the PA, I believe that the NFLPA was in favor. They knew that it was probably going to be about 6 games, so they're in favor of it.
Oh, of course they are.
The NFL definitely pushed for 1 year.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, this is another case of something going wrong with the NFL's way of policing. And, first case, and they already have to go against the judge's ruling. So where does that leave everything again? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a mess.
Yeah,
It certainly wasn't harsh enough. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
It's not harsh enough.
No. So again, another independent. It kind of works with the NFL, but is still not part of the NFL. Will be overseeing the proceedings of the NFL appeal. Question would be, and this is where I'm starting to question this whole thing: if the NFL wins their appeal and gets what they're looking for, which is 1 year suspension, some fines, things of that nature, then Deshaun Watson and the National Football League Players Association is going to sue, which now means it goes to court, which now means Deshaun Watson can play week 1. So it's almost like, again, we're sitting here wondering why this decision was made for 6 games, and literally he may not serve a game this year.
Yeah. Well, and the sad part is they worked out his contract so that way his suspension wouldn't even be that big of a fine either. So it's like it's a double slap in the face to the women and to what is justice.
So the thing that bothered me the most when the decision was made is that they said she said that she had to go off of precedent in what the NFL had done in the past.
Right.
And if you look at when has the NFL had a case where 24 women made an accusation of sexual misconduct against a player? There hasn't been. So how do you
not against the player?
Right. So how do you have a precedent? You didn't. You had an opportunity to set a precedent.
Right.
By saying, look, for each violation, it's X amount of games, whatever it was. You had an opportunity.
Eric, the fact that she said that it was egregious, and she was adamant that it was premeditated, and then you say 6 games? Like that is despicable. To be honest with you, it's despicable.
And then you want to put a clause in that says he can only get massage therapists from the organization. And it's like, you basically know that if nothing else, he would do it again. Right. He would do it again because there was no penalty or consequences for his actions.
Look, I'm sorry. Eric, I truly believe that he did this. And yes, there's no evidence stating, showing that he did it and everything. But when you look at it, okay, if you're on an NFL football team, they have everything there at the facility for you. So they have, official NFL, massage license people there working for the teams. But yet you go somewhere else to get the massages. Like, this doesn't even make any sense unless you're basically calling for a booty call, basically. And
So,
that's exactly what he's doing.
can I tell you what else bothers me about this whole situation? And I'm not disparaging the situation that happened to these women, but we allow this negative behavior by these players with these contracts and this money because we settle. And 23 of the 24 women have now settled.
Yeah.
And there's a no talk clause always put in there. So right, no disclosure. Right. They can't talk about it. So you basically condoned his action, saying that what he did was worth X amount of dollars, whatever it was. You're not going to stop this behavior from other players because they're going to realize, like, I have the money to pay people off.
Yep.
To continue to do this. There was another opportunity that was missed. And it just disheartens me because I really hope the one woman that's continuing this fight, honestly, people see that she gets something more out of it than just a paycheck.
Yeah.
Even if you don't, he's not found guilty or nothing. You have the ability to say, look, I stood up to him and I wasn't going to allow it again. And that's, to me, the biggest tragedy in this whole situation, that 23 of these 24 women decided it wasn't important enough to continue fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, and they just keep getting away with it. And the only precedent it is saying is that they get away with it. That's the only precedent set.
In fact, look, if he plays week one, it's just it's an even bigger joke. In this whole grand scheme of this, it's just a giant joke.
Yeah.
Because now we got to wait. Who knows? Once it goes to court, maybe next season he serves 6 games because they'll end up settling for 6 games anyway. It's just unreal.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't even want to talk about it anymore because it's just I'm tired of having. We've talked about him way too much. In the last couple months. So let's move on to some NFL. And a very interesting story that came out of Miami with the Miami Dolphins and owner Stephen Ross. They were found of guilty of tampering. What is your opinion on that situation?
Well, I mean, what is the results of the fines and loss of picks?
$1.5 million. Was the fine. 6 games away from the team for Stephen Ross. First round pick in next year's draft and a 3rd round pick in 2024's draft.
So it's the same thing as deflated footballs.
Pretty much.
This is what I'm saying, Eric. Like there's no rhyme or reason for why they do things. And it makes no sense. There are certain things that are more important than others. When you're getting a 6-game suspension for, sexual misconduct, we'll say.
Yeah.
How is that only 2 more games than deflated footballs?
Well, the question, too, would be a 6 games for tampering. It's the same offense as of sexually assaulting 24 women.
Right. This is what I'm saying.
The precedent's never going to change if all you're going to keep doing is giving 6 games to every single situation.
Right.
So I wanted to throw this out there. How much do you think Stephen Ross is worth? Just.
I'm going to say $200 million.
$8.2 billion.
Holy mackerel.
So you think the 1.5 is really going to hurt him?
Holy mackerel.
Right? So first of all, to me, the fine isn't a legitimate fine because $8.2 billion, $1.5 million, not even the same ballpark. That's the first problem. Secondly, if this was the New England Patriots, and I'm not trying to be a homer or one of these people, but we could not. There was the incident with the Bengals or whatever the team they recently Spygate 2 and all this stuff. They legitimately went out and talked to a player who was currently under contract with another team and tried to poach him. That to me is even worse than anybody filming a sideline or trying to get some signals. You're legitimately breaking the rules when it comes to contracts. Your players sign contracts. I would hope you'd expect your players to honor their contract unless they come out and say, I want out.
Yeah.
And that's usually before the season starts and not during a season while a player is under contract.
Yeah.
It's just unreal what is going on. And then on top of it, what bothered me the most, I am just on fire today with some of this stuff, because Brian Flores, who brought this to light, basically they backdoored him and made him feel like he was making legitimate statements. And then they still came out in their apology, Stephen Ross, and said, as I said, his allegations were false. They were not false.
No, they weren't.
They couldn't find anything about you paying him to tank and lose games. But he also had mentioned this Brady situation.
Yeah.
So he wasn't completely wrong in what he brought to the table. There wasn't enough evidence for the other stuff. It's just baffling to me. And again, as owners, we're basically condoning this activity. It's no different.
Yeah, and the fact that he has to stay away from the team for 6 games. So what is that doing?
Yeah, he'll go to
What does that do?
Barbados.
He doesn't do anything anyway. He sits up in his box and gets drunk.
Yeah, he'll take his yacht, go somewhere, some beautiful island. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be devastated.
Yeah, with some massage therapists and
hey, Bob Kraft style. But that even like some point, who's going to take accountability for the owners? Because you're having the same thing in Washington.
Oh yeah.
Dan Snyder's no better.
He's
right top to bottom that whole organization, and then you see it here with Miami, and yet these guys get it's like giving $100 fine to us.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
And you got to look like with the Gruden thing. I mean, obviously, if Gruden was involved in that, then the ownership for Las Vegas had to be involved, because why else would he be in this? You know what I'm saying? It's like there's just so much dirt in the NFL, and you can't police the players if you can't police the owners.
Yeah. And then let's set a precedent. 6 games. Everything's 6 games.
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez is lucky he didn't get arrested. It would have been 6 games.
I know.
That's what we're doing. It just we can't change anything because that's the precedent. It was a lame excuse. Yep. This is a lame excuse as well for punishment. But anyway, let's talk about some other rich individuals, and that would be wide receiver Deebo Samuel. We're going to talk about a lot of wide receivers in the next 3 stories, so it's pretty interesting. But he signed an extension with the San Francisco 49ers. How important was this to the team to get this deal done?
I mean,
he's pointing to the bank, by the way. Right? He said the bank's over there is what he's doing right there. So.
Yeah, Bank of the NFL. It's a new bank. They probably have more money than any other bank. So, look, I mean, he's a great player. He does so much for the team. Look, there are like all these sports shows that are out there. They're all praising, Trey Lance and how great he's going to be and blah, 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 blah. But until they actually play a game, there's no way of knowing how good he's going to be. Now, do I think he has a better arm than Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah.
Yes. But it doesn't make him any smarter than Jimmy Garoppolo, because I think Jimmy Garoppolo has a high football IQ. And all he does is win football games. And how you get rid of that, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's signing Debo was important for Lance. Trey
It
Lance,
is.
he needed that guy because if you look at his numbers from last season, 77 receptions, 1,405 yards, 6 touchdowns, but it also 59 rushes for 365 yards and 8 touchdowns. Multi-diverse in so many different areas for what
Yeah.
they do with San Francisco and their offense. He was first in receiving and receiving yards, and believe it or not, second in rushing yards.
Yeah.
So you can't honestly say that if they didn't make this happen, the struggles, first of all, for the offense, and then Trey Lance and what he would look like. This is more to cover San Francisco's behind than
Oh
anything
yeah.
else because they know if he was gone, Trey Lance doesn't look as good, and it looks foolish that they get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So this was saving face for them. 3 years, $71.550 million, $24 million for signing, $58 million guaranteed. Not bad. Good deal. You should be all right. 3 years. So let's talk about. So the AFC West we expect to be extremely difficult this season, very unpredictable. But injuries can play factors. And the Denver Broncos suffered one with wide receiver Tim Patrick, suffered a knee injury. He'll be out for the rest of the season. Can the Broncos overcome this early setback?
Yeah, I mean, especially if there's still some guys out there that you can go after. With the wide receiver merry-go-round, really nothing is impossible anymore. They'll find somebody else if they don't have somebody that can do the job now, because
Rick,
they're going to go for it anyway. So
yeah, Rick, thanks for joining. Yeah, we're definitely going to be discussing that situation shortly with Brittany Griner. So when I looked at it and I broke down their actual roster, Jerry Jeudy, he's coming back off the injury. He was by far the best wide receiver. Noah Fant led the team last season, 68 receptions, and Cortland Sutton was actually their second best wide receiver with 58 receptions. So he was good in yardage. He had second most yards on the team, third overall in reception. So it's not a major loss because basically you lose Patrick, but Jeudy now should be full-time going forward. And again, much better wide receiver. I think they can overcome that part of it.
yeah,
Continuity and everything else. It's so early in camp that I think at least if you're going to have an injury, probably now's the best time to have it. Gives you time to kind of get through it.
absolutely.
What about another wide receiver? We're going to talk about Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown. So he's been charged with criminal speeding. How do you think this is going to affect the Cardinals season?
Probably not much. Criminal speeding. What was he doing? Like a buck something.
Well, they say at least 20 miles over the legal limit.
Yes.
But now we look at precedent in the NFL, and again,
he'll get 6 games.
And DeAndre Hopkins is out for 6 games, suspended. Yeah. So now you lose your 1 and 2 wide receivers for the first 6 games of the season. That's pretty significant.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, you just look at the problems, and then, so how is that going to show with Kyler Murray in there, and say you go, 1-5, 2-4 at the start of the season, which they very well could do because they get a tough first 6 games.
Yeah, but maybe if he studies 4 hours a week, I mean, he might be all right.
Yeah.
That's...
I was told that Tom Brady does like 50 hours a week.
Yeah, well, 4, at least he gets something in.
Yeah.
But again, you lose your top 2 wide receivers. I find it hard to believe that you would actually be very successful if that happens.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, and you have to compensate for it some other way. So you better have a good game plan going in. So your coach needs to be on his toes. The defense needs to step up. They're supposed to be the backbone of the team anyway, but that's not what it looks like because of the loss of Chandler Jones. So I mean, when you lose that guy out of your defense, that's a big hit right there too. So I'm I'm gonna say that this team doesn't even make the playoffs this year.
I would agree with you. I think, look, the West, NFC West, the Rams are the team to beat. And if San Francisco gets anything out of Trey Lance, they're the second best team in that division. So it'd be pretty interesting. All right, my friend, we're going to stick with an NFL
until
team.
Jimmy signs with Seattle.
Yeah, until that happens. We're going to stick with this NFL team. We're going to do our triple play, though. And our triple play, we're actually going to decide who we're going to start, bench, and cut of these great NFLs who led the league in rushing yards per game in 1991. So 31 years ago, episode 31. So 31 years ago. And that would be Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, and Thurman Thomas. They all led the league in 1991 in rushing yards per game. You are first this week, my friend. So take it away.
This was actually pretty easy. When you look at the numbers, and believe me, the numbers here don't lie. 15,269 yards, 99 touchdowns, a 5.0 per carry for Barry Sanders in his career. I want him touching the ball at least twice every, 3 downs. And I'm just going to march right down the field to score. And then my defense has to just hold at least once. So I start Barry Sanders. It's not even remotely close in my book. Not even close.
Okay.
And I do like Emmitt Smith. So that experience, that durability, and that championship medal is got to be on my bench, just to guide Barry. Say, Barry, this is how we're going to win a championship. You're going to run for 5 yards, then we're going to pretend to throw, and then you're going to run for another 5 yards, and then we win the championship. That's the game plan. So, Emmitt Smith, 18,355 yards, 164 touchdowns. That doesn't even include the receiving touchdowns he has, which he had 11.
Yes, sir.
A 4.2 average. So with Emmitt, you have to have him get it all 3 times. So then you're not quite going to get that first down because you're gonna be like an 8/10 of a yard behind, each time out of the 2 times he runs the ball. So you have to have a quarterback there for him. And then I cut Thurman Thomas. He's a very good running back, and I'm going to just say very good. 12,074 yards, which is really good. But 65 touchdowns and also a 4.2 yards per carry. He doesn't have the durability as Emmitt, and just that championship drive, So he's getting cut.
Okay. All right. Well, we saw this completely different. So I am personally starting Emmitt Smith.
Yeah,
so
I knew you would.
I wanted a versatile back, and when my offense is predicated on being able to do multiple things. And I was surprised that I went with Emmitt Smith because I surely thought Thurman Thomas would have better receiving yards. But I didn't realize that Emmitt Smith had 515 receptions in his career. And like you said, the 11 touchdowns, 3,200 yards in the air.
Yeah.
Besides the 1835. And your point, I want somebody that can score 164 touchdowns by far better than all these guys.
That's right.
But I benched Thurman Thomas. And I benched Thurman
out
Thomas.
Of your mind.
472 receptions. 472 receptions, almost 4,500 yards in the air, 23 touchdowns.
I don't cut Barry for any reason.
He gives you more versatility. Barry
you don't
Sanders,
need versatility. You run him twice and you get your first down. There we go. Done.
It killed me to cut Barry Sanders, but 352 receptions, only 2,900 receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns in the air. Thurman Thomas gives me more versatility. Emmitt Smith, better all-around back. I had to cut, and it killed me, Barry Sanders.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
Your offense, when you want to throw the ball now, Barry Sanders is not an option for you.
What?
Not compared to the other two.
If you put Barry Sanders in there, he doesn't have to touch the ball, and people are still going to think he's going to get the ball.
352 receptions.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to throw him the ball. You don't have to throw him the ball. If he's in there, people are going to think you're going to run.
I want versatility. I want a guy that can do more than one thing.
You don't need a guy that can do anything. You don't even need need receivers with arms.
I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna hurt your theory right now.
You don't need receivers with arms.
Okay, Barry Sanders, to your point, right? 2 touches, gets a first down. How many Super Bowls did Barry Sanders go to?
None.
Okay, so your theory means that he's good enough to get you yardage, but he's going to end up losing.
No, what I'm saying is, look, if you're going to run the ball twice,
Barry Sanders could get you 10 yards, but yet he can't win. They don't win.
I'm starting running him as a running back on my team. It doesn't mean I'm going to draft what Detroit had.
I want to win. I want to have a guy that's versatile.
I am not going to put anybody else on the field that played for Detroit on that field during his play. I'm not going to put any coaches. I'm not going to put any scouting. Nothing to do with Detroit. The only thing I want from Detroit is Barry Sanders. And then Emmitt Smith will show him how to win.
You're wrong, but it's okay.
I'm not wrong.
You're wrong.
You know it. There's no way you can even justify it.
With Barry Sanders, they had good players.
Okay.
And he still couldn't win. Thurman Thomas went to 4 Super Bowls. Emmitt Smith won Super Bowls.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some NBA. And we're going to talk first about the unfortunate passing of the great Bill Russell. He passed away this week. And just overall, I guess I wanted to just get your feelings on Bill Russell, what he meant to you as a basketball legend, Celtic legend.
Well, I did not get a chance to see him play. Except for, replay games and stuff like that. And, to that effect. But without a doubt, if he's not on your Mount Rushmore in basketball, I don't know what you need to accomplish more. I mean, he's got more championships than anybody. He knows how to win. And I will take him over any center that has ever played the game. Any center. Doesn't matter who. I don't care. He's got that championship in him. All he did is win. What was he? 21-0 for elimination games.
Yeah,
21-0 in every level. Every level. So wherever he's been, he's won. That's basically what you want.
When we talk about greatness, I'm going to throw out 15.1 points per game, 22.5 rebounds.
It's insane.
4.3 assists, which you think, again, a center, still, back in those days, they didn't do it. He was a 12-time All-Star.
Yeah.
He played for 12 years.
Yeah.
Out of those 12, 11 All-NBAs.
Yeah.
5 MVPs. He was 4-time the total rebound champion, right? We talk about his 11 NBA titles.
In 12 years.
2 of those as a coach.
Yeah.
Player coach.
Oh,
First African-American coach to win any title.
Yep.
And then you think about the activist part of it, what he was able to do off of the basketball court and what he meant to the, the African-American community and his fights against the Vietnam War with Muhammad Ali and all those guys.
Right.
I mean, just a pure legend. And the great thing about him is you never heard anything bad.
No.
Like nothing ever came up. Like Wilt Chamberlain, as great as he was, he had the book where he slept with over whatever, how many women, right? And all these guys did. You never heard anything about Bill Russell. You just didn't. You just heard about he was a basketball guy who produced at a level that most could never even dream of getting to.
Right.
And rest in peace, Bill. We lost a great one. We lost a great one, especially in the Boston Celtics. You talk about that era.
And I have down at the bottom who is on your Mount Rushmore. So in the NBA, to me, my first three are clear cut. And that is Michael, Magic, and Bill Russell. Those are the ones that I put there. Now, 4
LeBron
is a little more tougher.
LeBron for you? 4?
No. I lean
hoping
towards Kareem or Bird. I can't decide which one.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I agree with you. I definitely have Bill Russell as one of those individuals. Michael for sure, Magic for sure.
Yeah.
4. Once it gets to 4, it gets extremely.
It's a hard choice because you have so many great players.
And if there are anybody out there right now, Rick, if you're out there, who's your 5? Who's your top 5? I'd love to hear it. But Rick did bring up an interesting point. We're going to discuss this as well as it's part of the WNBA, and that's Brittany Griner. So the Brittany Griner case has been basically completed. Her sentence was given by the Russian court system. She has received 9 years in prison. Your thoughts on the entire process and where we stand?
This is tough for me because, first of all, look, I don't want to jump on Brittany Griner. I don't want to jump on her because personally, I think it's stupid that you get 9 years in prison for, a cartridge of cannabis oil. It's dumb. Okay. Now, you need to know foreign countries' laws when you go to a foreign country. And I'm sorry, she plays in the league there, so she should know what the law is for cannabis.
Yeah, and it wasn't her first year in Russia, so we can't say she hadn't played in Russia. She's played in Russia, I think, the last 5-6 years.
So if you know the laws, then you know this is illegal, and the Russian government will come down on you, especially considering you're a star in the WNBA in the United States of America. So they are going to give you the harshest penalty possible so that way they can get something in return. So knowing that, you should know better than to do this, okay? Whether she knew it was in there or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because in the end, she pled guilty, she was found guilty, and she got 9 years. Could have been 10.
Yeah. So I tend to agree with you for the most part because, again, I think she should have known better. I think here's where the Russian government definitely made sure that they made it extremely difficult.
Believe me, that goes without saying.
The key word here is drug smuggler.
Right.
So we can say there's an injustice. The injustice is that they added that tag to the charge.
But that's what it is.
Right in their book, it is. Right in our book, in America, it isn't. That would not be considered drug smuggling. I mean, packet of oil is not considered, to me, packet of smuggling. You got some stuff on you.
Because with drug smuggling, it has to be with the intent to sell.
Yes, and she wasn't doing that.
Right.
So I think that's where the people can be upset about it. Yeah. You can't be upset that she got what she got. It's, to your point, that's the law.
Yeah.
In that country.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if that's what they're going to tag her as a drug smuggler, she got almost the max sentence. Yeah. Now, as a country, I believe we're going to work a deal to get her out, and we're not going to get into the political part of it. I'm not 100% sold that's the best reason why is because she plays basketball. I'm hoping it's because she's an American citizen and they tacked on a they're gonna get Paul Whelan out as well. So so hopefully in that aspect it helps him as well. if this brought light to that and we're able to get them out, we're going to send some really nice people back to them, which in turn, as a country, you start to question. But, Rick had it right? She just wanted to smoke some weed. That's great. But again, where you do it, what countries, there's different laws. There's different, types of things. So I honestly, yes, it sounds crazy because in America, she wouldn't get 9 years.
No.
Most of the country now it's legal. Unfortunately, in Russia, she should have known better. Either A, didn't bring it to begin with, or B, how did she get it there? That would be my question, because it's not as readily available as it is in America as it is now. So, we wish her well. Look, I don't want to see anybody sit there for 9 years, but unfortunately, until they figure it out, I mean, she's there, and there's not much. People can be upset about it, but there's a situation behind it as well. So let's talk some Major League Baseball. And another legend lost this week, and that was Vin Scully. And Vin Scully, he passed away, I believe, 94. Your thoughts about his amazing career?
I just remember, picking up a broadcast and him calling the games. He was so good at it. He was the voice of the Dodgers for what? I don't even know how long. 50 plus years, at least. So, it's sad because you keep losing these great sports figures. It's kind of disheartening at times. It's sad. It's sad because we lose Bill Russell and Scully in the same week.
And so I wanted to go through, and I looked at it's crazy because we always talk about numbers here, right? At Sports Unfolded, we try to get some numbers. So how do you get numbers for Vince Scully? And you can. 25 World Series he called.
Yeah.
18 no-hitters, Ron. 18.
Wow.
Think about that in his career. 3 perfect games, including the 1956 Game 5 Don Lawson perfect game, the only one in World Series history. So you think about just what he's brought to the game. Even though he was LA, right? We're Boston, right? New York, we're in this area. You knew of him, and you knew who he was. And there's certain guys that I would put him on this list, and I almost did a pick and roll of this, Ron, and think about how difficult this would have been, of all-time broadcasters. And I'm going to just mention a guy from Boston, Johnny Most. Think about Johnny Most and what he meant, that voice. Howard Cosell.
Right.
Harry Carey. The Cubs. You think about, this is what sports was about. It's not only about what happens on the field. It's about the voices and what they bring,
Al
the
Michaels.
emotion. I got Al Michaels, Marv Alberts.
Yeah.
Right? John Madden, who we lost, and it's like, Pat Summerall, all these guys. But think about us, small little podcast trying to make it in this game. It's not an easy game. These guys did it for how many years, and were able to bring, not just the excitement of the game, but joy. You loved hearing their voice. You loved hearing them explain things. You loved hearing them go through that process. So I'm going to tell you right now in heaven, how great is it going to be that Vince Scully's going to be up there talking to Bill Russell and John Madden. They're all just going to have a great time because, we're not going to ever see that type of broadcaster again.
Well,
Well, maybe someday Sports Unfolded gets, but we'll wait till then. So let's talk about the Atlanta Braves. Again, rest in peace, Vin, as well. Austin Reilly has signed a 10-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. Your thoughts on the move?
It's a good move. He's been one of the best hitters of this season, especially,
Young kid, 25, 407 at bats. He's batting 297, 121 hits, 29 home runs, 68 RBIs.
Yeah, I believe they got their core of 5 players now signed 7+ years.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. The great nucleus. They got Ronald Acuna Jr., 24 years old. Ozzy Albies, 25. Max Fry, the pitcher, 28. So all young. Matt
Acuna is
Olson,
only for $100 million too.
right? It was something ridiculous. So they're in good shape. And again, this MVP talk with Reilly. So again, you get him on. Think about the contracts that we've been seeing. That's the only thing I would question some of these guys. Why sign a 10-year deal? I mean, I would bid on myself to go 5, and then who knows what you'd be worth if you keep putting up numbers.
Well, I mean, you get that big contract, you make your money.
But what's $200 million
you're pretty much all
going to
set.
be worth in 10 years? Consider what baseball. We're about to see a $500 million deal for Soto.
Yeah.
Right. So there might be a point where in 10 years it's $1 billion for a guy.
Yeah.
That's where these contracts are heading.
Yeah, and I don't
right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's too much. It's too much. It's okay, but watch, because it's eventually going to come crashing to a halt when baseball starts losing money because it's bleeding fans right now.
It definitely is. It's one of the highest sports to go to.
Look, when you look at the influx of players in youth leagues, all 3 are going up. All other 3, and including soccer, so you can include that one. It's all going up. Baseball participation is declining. The only one that's declining. They're going to be in trouble come, soon.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We couldn't get through a show without mentioning some Red Sox news, so we wanted to talk. I know how excited you were about Jackie Bradley Jr. and his release by the Boston Red Sox. Do you agree with the move, Ron?
Well, yeah, because he stinks.
I figured you would say no. It should have been sooner.
Well, yeah, they should. Look, they should not have even traded for him, giving up Hunter Renfroe, who when he played the Red Sox, he hit his 18th home run of the season, so he might have 20 by now. So you give up those 20-plus home runs for a guy that can't even hit 200.
So here's my concern. And as a non-Red Sox fan, I looked at what they had. So JBJ, 271 at-bats. He's batting .210, 57 hits, 3 home runs, 29 RBIs. Does not sound very good. But Kike Hernandez, who's expected to come back shortly, was batting .209 with 45 hits.
Yeah, I know. He was hurt.
4 home runs, 24 RBIs. This is their backup. And Jared Duran, who's currently playing, is batting .229, 35 hits, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs in 40 games.
Yeah,
they don't have a lot backing them up. So going into or keeping the season, to me, would have made sense keeping JBJ for at least the rest of the year.
Look,
based on defensively, and B, the guys behind him aren't hitting much better anyway.
No. Look, I'm just going to bring somebody else up and give him the experience. I'm not wasting my time with a guy that just doesn't get better. He just doesn't get better. They've been trying to get him to hit the other way, but he insists on pulling the ball. You are not good enough to pull the ball. You're just not good enough. You strike out way too much. You just don't get it. Like, your defense has been just an average player out there, to be honest with you. Like, it doesn't make a difference because you're in right field. Where he made a difference was playing center field and catching up to the ball in the diamond, that no man's land. Now he's not doing that, and you got a guy that's standing out there looking up and can't find the ball. This is your coaching at its best, and this is why, say what you want about Cora, but he's been horrible this year. Just all the moves, everything. Just simple facts of when you are struggling as a team. Your hottest hitter at the time was J.D. Martinez. You let Franchi, a left-handed batter, go against a left-handed guy coming out of the bullpen that's one of the better closers on the team. You let him bat instead of bringing in Martinez as a pinch hitter because you wanted to give him a day off. It's like, you know what? You're getting paid $20+ million. Get in there and hit the ball. Like, that's the manager. This is the manager's fault. And I'm so sick of people toting, like, that Cora is some genius. He's not. He's not. He won a World Series with this club because they were the best team.
It's because they cheated, but that's okay.
That too.
All right, let's bring that into it. So we are bringing a brand new segment to the show, and it kind of ties into what we're talking about. And our brand new segment is What Were They Thinking? And today on What Were They Thinking, we're going to play the Boston Red Sox, basically the management team during the trade deadline and why we made the decisions we made. So you're first this week. If you'd like to go first as the Boston Red Sox management team.
Chaim Bloom?
You could be Chaim Bloom. You could
Hi,
be Corey.
I'm
You could
Mr.
be
Bloom.
Hi,
I'm Mr. Bloom.
So what were you thinking? What were you thinking?
Look, I mean, I can't believe people were calling me and say, hey, is Christian Vasquez available? And I'm like, yeah, sure. What are you going to give me? We got a couple of prospects here. They're, 16 and 19 on our farm system. They'll be way better than everybody you have, It's like, we could use a nice catcher. You're not going anywhere. So, why don't you just trade him for some prospects? You can build up that farm system. It's like, oh, absolutely. Let's do that. Oh, damn. Now I don't have a catcher. Okay, so let me trade a couple of prospects and get this guy, McGuire. He seems like he could be pretty good, hitting, 226 on the season. Yeah, he's a good replacement for what we need, right? Because we don't really need much. We have Plawecki, who somehow forgot how to hit all of a sudden, but we still have him, and he's a great defensive catcher. He can't throw anybody out going to second from first, but, he's a great defensive catcher. And he calls a great game, too. So let's send you a couple of prospects, and we'll do that. The fans are really pissed now. Oh, sorry. They're really upset. Okay, so we got to make it look like we're really trying to get some players here now. So let's go get Tommy Pham, who's, lighting it up this year at like 230 batting average.
Pretty good in the MLB.
Yeah, he's a good player. So we got Tommy Pham now in outfield. We can put him in center, move Duran. Oh, better yet, let's put him in left field. Let's put Verdugo all the way into right field and keep Duran there. That's a better move. That's better. Better. Now we can hit the ball with authority because we got Tommy Pham. But, we have a lot of dead weight in that bullpen, so let's get rid of our best bullpen pitcher, in the past month, Diekman. So we'll get rid of Diekman to get, what we need. Gee, what? Oh, hey, look, they're trying to pawn off their first baseman over to Washington. He doesn't want to go. We'll take you. We'll take you. We wanted him 6 years ago. And he would have been great 6 years ago in Fenway Park, hitting it off that wall. Boom, 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 boom. Like clockwork. And he's a Gold Glove first baseman. We've been struggling at first base all season long. Bobby Dahlbeck has played pretty well over there, but he's only hitting 220. Like I'd much rather have a 240 hitter.
Yeah,
that's better
than 220.
It is
Good
a lot
job.
better.
Hi, Bloom. Good job.
So we improve first base. We improve our outfield because now we can get rid of
JBJ.
JBJ because Verdugo is going to be over there now. And then once Hernandez comes back, our outfield will be great again. Might not be able to catch the ball, but it'll be great again. So I think the fans will be happy about these moves because once all our players come back, we'll be great. I mean, look at the results already. We went into Kansas City and we lost 7-3. But I think we improved.
You did all right. So, great job, by the way. So I will now play the Boston Red Sox brass, and I will give you my impression of what they were thinking. All right, let's look at it, boys. This is what we're going to do. We're going to sell. We're going to be sellers. Because you know what? We're in last place right now. Makes sense. Let's get some talent in here in our farm system, and we'll build it up. All right, we're going to trade. We're going to get rid of everybody. We're getting rid of Bogarts. We're getting rid of Devers. We're getting rid of everybody. We're just going to clean house. Well, since we're not keeping Bogarts, who's his best friend? Christian Vasquez. He's got the most available on the market right now. Let's trade him away. It's not going to really affect the team at all because we're going to trade Xander anyway. All right. So we trade Vasquez, right? We're good. No problems. We're ready to go. Oh, wait a minute. We got an opportunity to get Pham. But that would improve us, right? Maybe we're not sellers anymore. Let's be buyers right now. We're going to buy. We're going in. We could still win this thing. We're only 3 games out, guys. We can do this. All right. So now we're going to start picking up some guys, right? But wait a minute. Let's still sell too. Can we do both? Let's do both. And at the end of the day, our fans can come back and say, you know what? They picked up some guys. We lost some guys, but we picked up some guys. And our naive Boston Red Sox fans are going to be okay with that because they're going to say, look, they didn't just sell. We didn't sell, guys. We picked up Hosmer. You guys have been asking for a first baseman for years now, Boston Red Sox fans.
Yeah, 1 year.
Yes.
This year.
I brought you one. I got you one. We can't complain now. We got your first baseman. We got you some help in the outfield, right? We're doing all right. We're good. We lost a couple guys. Christian Vasquez. You know what? Guess what, fans? He wasn't going to sign with us anyway. We were going to lose him. Why not trade him? Right? There we go. Problem solved. Got it. At the end of the day, I still look like a genius because the fans are just going to be so naive to say, look, well, they got this guy and this guy. First home run Hosmer hits, guess what? Everybody's going to think I did a great job. I don't look like a seller. If we lose, we'll just dump it on Cora as making bad decisions. That's all. And we blame the manager for some of the management style because that's what I'm hearing from some of the Red Sox fans. How'd I do?
Not bad. Not bad.
What were they thinking? So we'll continue to do these periodically in between. So this and Face Off. We just thought this would be a fun segment to do, and we'll continue to do these as they go along. But we're going to talk some NCAA women's basketball. So big story that came out this week is the star player for the UConn Huskies, and that's Paige Becker. We're going to bring her up there. She is suffering an ACL tear and will miss her junior season. How big is this for the UConn Huskies this season? So, again, lost the championship last year to South Carolina in the finals. She had come back, the importance she was in the tournament for them. Do you feel like the UConn Huskies can overcome this loss?
I mean, they can overcome it. It's just going to be hard to win a championship because that's a big loss, and she wasn't. Look, one player doesn't make a team.
No,
not in basketball, as we know this, because 2 players don't make a team. So, I think. Look. They recruit well, so I'm sure they'll have some incoming players that are going to be able to put up the numbers and possibly do what she did, but I don't know if they can pull off a championship. They can still make a good run, though. So
last season, she averaged 14.6 points, 4.0 and the rebounds, 3.9 assists. Not a very good year. Shot 54.4% from the field. Though.
Yeah.
Shot very well, but only played in 17 games. She had some injuries. We know her freshman year was her breakout year, and she came on with on fire. 20 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 46.4% from 3-point range.
Right.
So a fully healthy Paige Becker for the UConn Huskies would have meant the world to them. They lost 3 players last season to the WNBA. You're not going to be able to replace that. Don't have a current point guard on the team. So that, again, may cause some problems. And if you look at it this way, the polls, they were ranked second overall. Most of the mock polls, early polls coming out, South Carolina being the number 1. They've probably dropped down about 6 already, just with this loss. They're not even in the top 5.
Yeah, and when you keep losing players to now the WNBA, and then you lose players to injuries, it just compiles the problem, But I mean, again, they're going to recruit well, and I think they could make up for some of the loss. But again, they can make a nice run, and they still can compete with most of the teams. But when it comes time to win a championship, they're not going to be able to have enough.
Yeah, you're not going to have that thoroughbred. And you think about all these college teams like Georgia, how many guys did they lose, right, from their championship team? So it's very hard for these guys, even if you recruit well.
Yeah.
Some of those guys very hard to replace. She's going to be very hard to replace. But we hope for a speedy recovery. Listen, I'm in the Connecticut area. Paige, ever want to jump on? Let us know how you're doing. We'll definitely reach out to Paige if we could get her on Sports Unfolded. Let's talk some NHL. My hockey guru, my guy. I'm just kind of curious. So I wanted to get your thought process on what the Calgary Flames are doing. So they signed an extension with Jonathan Huberdeau for 8 years, $84 million, so over $10 million a year.
Yep.
You get rid of Matthew Tkachuk with that trade. Was this more about Tkachuk just refusing to stick with Calgary?
Correct.
Or was this because it clearly couldn't have been a money thing?
No, it's because Tkachuk wanted out. And
after the Gaudreau trade.
After Gaudreau signing with Columbus, look, he's the one that got him the puck, Gaudreau was the catalyst of that team. And, not taking anything away from Tkachuk. Tkachuk is a very talented player, and he's going to get his points no matter where he goes. But he's looking at it as, you lost your sidekick, and there's no way we're going to have a good team, without them signing a center. Now, I really would have liked to see Kadri sign there, and keeping Tkachuk, but
has he signed yet?
No.
No, right? I didn't think I saw anything. So let me ask you this question. As a just a fan of a sport, would you be more upset with a guy that walked out of your team because instead of saying, look, I'm still good enough to make this team a winner? Did it seem like he kind of ran as soon as the situation got difficult? Kachuk's like, I'm out. I want out.
Yeah, to me, it felt like he just didn't even give them a chance to react to losing Gaudreau, because it took them so long, to even inquire about anybody else. And I don't know if they had, I don't know if they were in on Kadri or not. But you have to try to replace Gaudreau with somebody. You need somebody in there. If you were planning on keeping Tkachuk, then you have to at least go for somebody with talent. Like a Palat or somebody.
Yeah.
That at least would have shown, Tkachuk that they were trying, but they weren't doing anything. And I believe that Calgary was waiting to see what was going to happen, what was going to be available, who they can get cheaper.
Yeah.
Because they knew they had to pay Tkachuk as well. And let's face it, it's a Canadian team, that has had issues with fans, attending games when they were bad, So I can understand Calgary's side of it, but I can also understand Kachuk's side when he sees the team not doing anything and everything is passing up the team, and I can see he thought that Calgary was just going to be a non-player and they were just going to wipe their team.
Yeah.
And we thought the same thing.
How successful is Huberdeau going to be with Calgary, in your opinion? I know if he was on a very good Florida team, a lot of talent. 8 years, 84 million. He's 29 now. That pushes him 37 years old.
He's good enough to make somebody better. He's
right?
good enough to make somebody better.
The Flames have continued to sign guys.
Yeah.
So they're not just staying quiet. They're trying to stay competitive. I think it was a great move for the team because, look, you lock up a guy, you're not going to run into this problem now for the next 8 years.
Right. And you get a good defenseman out of it, too.
Yeah. What you've ended up doing here is saying, look, we may have lost some talent, but if they are fans and they do show up, we brought in some good talent to be competitive. And in the West, look, you don't need to be very good, or you could just be very good, and you should be able to make the playoffs. There's not too many good teams in the West.
If they can get somebody on Huberdeau's wing to replace Tkachuk, I'm not saying replace 100 points, but if you can get a guy that can score 25 goals on that side, you're probably going to finish third in that division.
Which is insane to think about. You lose two superstars, and you could still be pretty relevant. It's pick and roll time, my friend. And we decided to go with these Major League greats that wore number 31. And the players are Mike Piazza, Fergie Jenkins, Greg Maddux, Dave Winfield, and John Lester. All wore the number 31. All had very good careers. You are first, my friend, this week, so let's give the fans the wrong list, and then I will give them the correct list.
It is not the wrong list. Let's get that perfectly clear. My lists are always right.
I already know we're not going to agree on any of this.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, you probably have Piazza like number 1 or something stupid like that. So, yeah. All right. So, number 5. This was very difficult for me because I really thought his numbers were going to be better than this. 200 wins, 117 losses, 3.66 ERA, 2,488 strikeouts, which is very good this day and age for this era. 5 All-Star games and 3 World Series champions. It was hard for me to put him here, but his numbers were just clearly not as good as everybody else, even though I love those World Series wins. And he was very important for 2 of those.
Yes, he was.
I got to say, John Lester, number 5.
Wow. Okay. I'm surprised.
That was hard for me to put him there. But
especially
I couldn't put him above anybody else. I couldn't put
especially
him
with the championship.
I know. Number 4, I have Mike Piazza.
Wow.
Look, these are great numbers. 2,127 hits, 427 home runs, 308 lifetime batting average, which is very good especially for a catcher.
Yep.
Over 1,300 RBIs, and 1,048 runs. He won a Rookie of the Year, 10 Silver Sluggers, and I believe that's 12 All-Stars as well. No championships, but those numbers are so good. They're still better than John Lester by a long way.
Yeah.
By a long way. Lester is a borderline Hall of Famer. Piazza is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Like, there's a disparity there.
Yeah, absolutely. I see where you're going.
Number 3, and I thought for sure he would be my lowest ranked pitcher, but he was not. Fergie Jenkins, 284 wins, 226 losses, 3.34 ERA. So, a third of a run better than Leicester. 84 more wins than Leicester. So there's no way I could have put Leicester above him.
Agreed.
3,192 strikeouts.
Pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive. What's more impressive, besides the 3 All-Star games, is a Cy Young Award winner.
Yep.
But no World Championships.
None. Realize 7 saves as well.
Yes.
In his career. It's kind of crazy.
Yes. So that leaves, the top 2. And to me, I don't think it was close as far as hitters. Well, it was only Piazza and Winfield in there as hitters. But so Dave Winfield, who 3,110 hits. So getting that 3,000 mark is.
Yep.
Of course, he had 4,000 more at bats, but that also plays into the longevity of the player as well. 465 home runs. He was a monster of a hitter.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
big too. 6'7", I think.
Yeah, he was huge. 283 batting average. Again, not as good as Piazza, but he was a feared hitter.
Yep.
1,833 RBIs.
Yeah.
That is incredible. And 1,669 runs. This guy produced, if you add them both up, 3,400 runs. That's what he's producing.
Yeah.
Okay, but 12 All-Stars, 6 Silver Sluggers. So he had the All-Stars, and he had, just a little less than Piazza. 7 Gold Gloves. This guy was one of the best. One of the best. Like that's defense. So you're taking away runs from people now. Not only are you getting 3,400 of them for your team, you're taking away runs.
Yeah.
And a World Series championship.
Yes, sir.
So he had to be number 2. He had to be higher than Piazza.
Yep.
Just for the numbers. The
Okay.
numbers are there. But nobody was as good as this guy. Like Greg Maddux, number 1, 355 wins. So he had 71 more wins than Fergie Jenkins.
Yeah.
And played in a day and age where you saw that starting role starting to diminish and pitch less. This guy thrived. He thrived. And he was getting complete games with like 70 pitches in a game. Like this guy was efficient. 3.16 ERA, 3,371 strikeouts. So a guy that's not a power pitcher still had more strikeouts because he was so perfect in where he placed his pitches. It was beautiful
surgical
to watch.
Yeah, it was surgical.
He
could pinpoint anywhere on.
But that's not even the good part.
Mm-hmm.
8 All-Stars.
Which was surprisingly low, that I thought. But, that part of it surprised me. But go ahead.
Yeah. 4-time ERA champion.
Yep.
4 times was the best pitcher in the baseball. And coinciding with 4 Cy Young Awards.
Yes, sir.
4. He has a World Series championship. Should have been more. I don't know how that team didn't win more.
Yeah, no, with that pitching stuff, you would think.
But the amazing thing is,
there we go. Say it.
18 Gold Glove awards.
How can you be that good?
Like, first of all,
defensively as a pitcher,
you have to play at least 18 years.
Yeah.
How many pitchers play full seasons 18 years? I mean, like, that's insane.
Yeah,
That's insane
no,
to me.
I agree
That
with you.
is the best. That means for 2 decades, you were taking the Gold Glove and nobody else would get it.
Insane. It's
Two
crazy.
decades. So he won more Gold Gloves than most pitchers even played.
Yeah, agreed. No, without a doubt.
And to me, he was far and away the easy choice at number one.
All
Far
right.
and away.
So we were actually you pretty much we had one difference. So I was surprised. I really thought you were going to put Leicester somewhere else. I just with the championships, knowing you,
I couldn't.
um,
I couldn't.
but
The
I
numbers
did.
just
Yeah,
weren't there.
yeah. 5 All-Stars, 3 championships, but again, not a lot, not as many wins as the other 2 pitchers
Because I'm not
and the
sure
striker.
Leicester's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So
saying? And I
yeah,
know Piazza is.
yeah. So I had Leicester at 5. I had Fergie Jenkins
Yeah, you had Piazza
at
one
4,
spot higher.
and I had Piazza at 3. But I agree with everything you said. Dave Winfield, I think, superior hitter versus Piazza.
Right.
And then Maddox, just the numbers. When I
We
saw
had
18 Gold Gloves,
We
I
had
was
the pitchers in the same order, and we had
even
the
if they
hitters in
had
the
the
same
same
order.
amount of wins.
Yeah.
I would 18
The
Gold Gloves.
Gold Gloves. Yeah,
I would
the
have given
Gold
them.
Gloves.
I would have given it to him. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't just deny that. But not a bad list. We had some fun.
It
That was a good one.
it was a great list because
Yeah.
I have very good memories of every one of these players. I've even seen Fergie Jenkins play. You
Wow.
know, like I've seen him play. So and he's a guy that's had a tough life. But when he was on that mound, he was so good. He was so good, and it's like he's a great pitcher, and
Yeah.
he
No.
didn't get a lot of the recognition that he really deserved at the time.
And I think
And
you said it great with Greg Maddox too, right? The one championship.
yeah,
Like you think about that whole team, Smoltz and Glavin and him, and how did they get only one?
I know
Amazes me. Amazes me. So great job. We
that
were
was a
pretty
fun
close.
list. That was a good list.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. We try to get creative as possible. So we are going to move on to our predictions, my friend, and game to game. But this is going to be down to the wire. We know nobody's really going
Yeah,
to take off here. Um, but if you'd like to get on this list, you got to join us live. And when we're giving you these predictions, just let us know who you would predict. We'll get you on this list. We're picking most of the time the best games possible. The only difference is with the NFL, we pick the New England Patriots game every week, no matter who they're playing. But we are going to go. You are first this week, my friend.
Oh,
So you get to pick.
well, I
this
already
first-
picked all my teams, so that's
So did I. So on 8-5, you got the New York Yankees at the St. Louis Cardinals 3-game series. Who wins?
I'm going St. Louis. I'm thinking, okay, so the Yankees have been struggling on the mound.
Yeah.
They have some injuries. Um, they got rid of their best player in Joey Gallo.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
St.
good
Louis,
call.
no, St. Louis did improve their pitching staff, so I feel a little more confident in St. Louis being at home. I think they have a slight edge. They still have a formidable lineup with Goldschmidt. Oh my
Yep.
God, he's so good. So I'm going to go St. Louis 2-1 in that series.
Okay. I have picked against the New York Yankees every time they've been on here. I feel like they bounce back. Matt Carpenter going back to St. Louis. It's going to have a very good series for New York. I'm picking the Yankees here to win this series.
Good.
They need to get back on track here.
Good.
So 8-5, we got the San Diego Padres at the Los Angeles Dodgers, a 3-game series. I am questioning myself on this one because there's an injury now to Kershaw, and I'm not sold that the Padres will mesh that quickly. I'm going the Dodgers here.
Yeah, I'm going San Diego. I think Soto being in that lineup is going to be a difference maker. It might not turn into home runs at first, although it could, but he's just going to see more pitches. He's going to see more pitches in a game because you can't pitch around him to get to Manny.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. I mean, you're asking for trouble at that point.
Yeah, and I know
So
Tatis is on his way back. So
yeah,
once they're all back,
but they still have a good lineup. They still
very
have
good lineup.
Bell coming into that lineup as well.
Yep.
So you're looking at three guys that can just pound the ball, and then you throw the other guys that have been doing it all year for this team. I think the San Diego Padres do win the series.
All right. 8-7. Got the Connecticut Sun at the Chicago Sky.
I'm gonna go Chicago Sky in this one.
I went Sky as well.
Being at home,
Home. Yep. Defending
Um,
champions. They got
think-
beat in Connecticut
yes,
recently, so
yes.
that'll sting a little bit. They'll want to come out and play a little better.
Right. So, and that is the exact way that I was looking at it because I saw that game. It was a pretty good game. Connecticut is definitely a lot different on the road than at home.
At home. Yep.
That crowd at home, woo, that is probably the best crowd in the WNBA. So, way to go, Connecticut. So,
No.
but I went with Chicago Sky.
Get a little gambling in, go to the game. You get look it up. So they're always louder. 8-7. You got the Las Vegas Aces at the Seattle Storm. I went with emotion on this one. So the Aces lost a tight one the other day. Seattle Storm, last game, Sue Bird at home. I think that emotion's going to hurt them. And I'm going the Aces, who are going to bounce back from a bad loss and, sneak by Seattle based on the fact that they're going to be more involved in the Sue Bird ceremonies and things of that nature. So the emotions.
I think this is going to play right into what Sue Bird is all about. I think Sue Bird goes off in this one. I think she's going to get at least 25. She is going to light it up from everywhere. And I think the Storm win big.
Okay. MLS Soccer, we've got the Real Salt Lake at the Los Angeles Football Club. You're up.
I pick first.
Yeah, on that one because I had the Aces.
I'm going with a tie.
You can't go with tie.
I'm going with a tie.
No, you need a winner. Pick a winner.
No, I'm going with a tie. That's my pick.
All right, I'm going tie then also.
No, you can't do that.
You can't do that. That's not fair because now that gives you two opportunities to win.
No, I can only win if it's a tie.
Yeah, but then I can't win. I'll go Los Angeles. I'll go Los Angeles. I don't like this tie thing. Pick a winner next time. And then on 8-11, we got the New York Giants at the New England Patriots, NFL preseason. Both first game for both teams. I have not heard very good things coming out of New England's camp when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. I think they're still way behind where they want to be and trying to figure it out. So I'm going the New York Giants here to sneak one in because I feel New England's still going to be testing and tinkering this first week here.
This is the mistake I made last week when I decided not to go with Las Vegas, and I went with that crap bag of a team, Jacksonville.
We both did it.
And boy, was I mistaken. And I won't do that again because the New York Giants is a crap bag of a team, and if you put their starters against the Patriots' second team, I still think the Patriots win this game. So I'm going New England.
All right, New England. So we basically only one game we picked the same. So there should be some movement next week.
Yeah.
There should be some movement next week.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy what you're watching, check us out every Friday night.
I hope I win that tie so much. Oh my God, that would be awesome.
So if see, this is what I'm saying though. If Real St. Lake, I get a loss, you get a loss too. Okay. If it's not a tie, you don't win. I got you. So if you enjoy what you're watching, check us out every Friday night, 6 p.m. We had the ticker going to tell you all the different ways.
You got to look at it this way. You have a 50-50 chance of winning, right?
No, I'm not. Yeah.
I have a 33% chance of winning.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. So we're going to look at I can't. Check us out, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. We're live. All those different formats there. Every Friday, 6 p.m., we have Fan Interactive. If you jump in, we will definitely make sure we acknowledge You can listen to us on Ncaa, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn. If you don't have time to watch, if you'd like to sponsor the show, email us at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. You can follow us social media on Facebook, TikTok, MeWe, YouTube, and Twitter, all at Sports Unfolded. Watch us on SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12, every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Enjoy what you're watching. If you're watching now, check us out live Friday nights at 6 p.m. Also on Instagram on sports_unfolded if you'd like to follow us there as well. Ron, as we normally do and end our show, we do our final thoughts. You are first this week, my friend, so you can take it away. Your final thought.
Okay, so my final thought has to be, about Bill Russell. It has to be. And I don't know if you're doing that or not, but I thought it was necessary. You know, a lot of people are always in the debate, is it Michael? Is it LeBron? Is it Kobe? Is it Wilt or Kareem? Why is nobody saying is the best player to ever play Bill Russell? Why is that? I don't understand that. When you win 11 championships, you must be in the conversation. You have to be in that conversation. I don't care, what the competition was like back then, because let's face it, I mean, it changes from year to year on what the teams look like and what the players look like. But Bill Russell had to work with what he had, so his teammates were with what his teammates were, and it's not his fault he was the best player in the league. It's not his fault. It's just like it's not Michael's fault that he dominated the league,
Yeah.
And
There's
that's
still very
just
good
how it
players.
is.
Will
Right.
Chamberlain, you played against some of the
Absolutely.
best as
Yeah.
well. So
And
Kareem,
that leads to my point. It's like, okay, so if Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest player of that era, why doesn't he have 11 championships? Because he wasn't the best player. Best player doesn't always necessarily mean the greatest talent. Like Wilt Chamberlain, he was talented and he had that skill. He was probably the most skilled player, but he wasn't the best player. And for that, on that Mount Rushmore, Bill Russell will probably be there for the rest of time in my book, along with Michael and Magic. And I'd probably put Larry a little ahead of Kareem.
no, great final thought.
Or Tim Duncan.
Again, we lost some great ones. We really did this week. My final thought is actually, I'd like to go back in time before it was all about money. It was all about the financial piece of why you played the sport. So again, we're going to look at Soto of 500 million plus, right? You turned down 440 million. So on Tuesday, the Little League World Series starts, and it begins there. It begins with these kids playing and just enjoying the game and having fun and trying to learn and have these magical moments. And I'm glad that they get their opportunities to be on TV now, because some let's say 90% of them aren't going to make them to the big leagues and have those opportunities. They get an opportunity to at least have a memory, and it's fun. It's not about money. It's not about status. It's about just having fun and just going out there and performing.
We used to say that about college.
Right? We used to, and that's going to change too. So I just, it's something pure to me where it's just kids having fun. And there's nothing really, like, obviously there's winners and losers, but it's not a financial thing. If you lose, you lose. It doesn't matter. It's just, if you win, great. You get to go on and continue. If you don't, you know what? You had an opportunity, and ESPN does a great job with it. They really do when it comes to that, because they have all the kids always come out and do their, openings and their nicknames or whatever it is. And it's kind of cool because, again, how many times are these kids going to have that opportunity? So if you get a chance, check it out. Tuesday it starts, and it's always a great tournament. So to the kids, good luck. That's my final thought. Ron, it's been a pleasure. As usual, lot covered this week. We might have to do a Sports Unfolded Mount Rushmore for some of these NBA, NFL, NHL.
You know,
Might
I,
do something.
I think about all the greats, and it's like, there's still so many people that really never get put on a Mount Rushmore that really need to be like Michael Phelps for one. You know,
Yeah.
like 22 gold medals. Like, how is he not considered one of the greatest athletes of all time? You know what I'm saying? And there's just so much. There's just so much that we get lucky to see when you really start breaking things down, and you go from sport to sport to sport. Like, think of all the gymnasts and
Yeah.
figure skaters, and you know, and I make fun, but stuff like cricket and curling, like there's great winners in all these sports that never get that recognition, and it'd be nice, for
Yeah.
them to get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So check us out again every Friday night. We are here 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live. We're a month and a day away from our NFL preview show. So looking forward to that as well. We are going to just be the best NFL show you ever see. We've got so much we're going to do that night. It's probably about a 3-4 hour show, but
We got to make sure Kenny's there.
we'll be ready. Kenny will be joining us for that as well. But thank you to everybody that's been following, support us, continue to follow and support us, continue to help us grow. Check out sponsoring. It's extremely affordable, millions of eyes worldwide on your business. Check it out. And it helps us continue to grow and do even more for Sports Unfolded. Ron, you have a great night. Fans out there, all we ever want is peace.
Have a great night, everybody.